everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, I'm a geek, you are watching Kevin the Geek, and can I just start by giving the biggest thanks to every single one of you who has supported the channel in the various ways over the last year. I mean, it has been, putting it mildly, an insane year. Yeah, just putting it very, very simply, mildly. I mean, when I look at my analytics for YouTube over the last year, in terms of subscribers, just on alone, in 2024, I got 646 new subscribers in 2024, which may not sound like a lot, but for me that is absolutely massive. And 41 of them came from the first reaction to the Lord of the Rings movies across the two videos. 22, surprisingly, came from the final ever episode I did of Still Game, which I was convinced that I would lose loads of subscribers after that point, when in reality loads of people have stuck with me and continued to subscribe and continue to watch. So massive thanks there. I had 11 from the train spotting video, 11 from the first reaction to Outnumbered, 11 from again, surprisingly, Are You Dave Gorman? Like that was the Dave Gorman video which gave me the most subscribers. So it's really interesting looking at some of these analytics. I mean, viewing wise, in terms of just numbers of views in 2024, 222,670 views. In terms of watch time, so in terms of hours, 42,332 hours of footage watched over the year, which is 99% more for 2023. So we've basically like doubled what people have been watching last year compared to the year before, which is just insane. And of course, it was my first year where I was able to sort of monetize the channel, both via actual YouTube monetization and Patreon and everything. So yeah, just humongous thank you to every single person. December alone, 47 new subscribers, 17 of which are named, which of course your names should be scrolling through the video. In terms of Patreon, I had 32 Patreons in the month of December, and surprisingly, from my point of view, I was surprised how few people actually took up the option of wanting to become a Patreon, even if it was just for the one singular month, with the fact that I offered it all at a 50% discount. I was a little bit surprised. I thought that might entice a few more people to come on board, even if it was just like a one-off kind of thing. But I appreciate it's a difficult time in the month, and that's why I offered it to you. But yeah, 32 patrons in total. Again, your name should be scrolling through. And I have, of course, expanded the top tier level, which is the Super Geek tier level, which has now gone up to a maximum of 7 people, so that in theory each month I can have a Super Geek week, which is where all of my guaranteed reactions can go out in one single week for those Patreon supporters. That's the plan anyhow. Yeah, I just wanted to start that off with a big thank you, and thank you for being patient with me for the start of this month, because of course, yes, I suffered from the flu over the Christmas period, literally 2 days before Christmas. Most of that I'm kind of recovered from, but I've been left with an insanely bad chesty cough, which so far I've been I was about to say, so far I've been able to keep it under contained. I don't know what it is. If I talk about it, or if like I was watching back a reaction of something I did the other day, because I was creating the YouTube edit version of it, and just as soon as I started coughing on the video, I started coughing in real life. So yeah, it's not been the best of the Christmas periods for me, but yeah, I appreciate you trying to give me a bit of time to try and recover and get back to my normality. So, of course, over the next couple of days, there is a number of re-uploads for things that can now be viewed on YouTube, which couldn't be previously. If I still feel I need a bit more time to recover, I do, of course, have the second series of One Foot in the Grave, which has previously been out on Patreon, but not on YouTube yet. So I can always put those out if I need to give myself a little bit extra time, and that'll be new footage for some of you anyway. So yeah, that's my thank you message for the start of this video. But for now, let's get into things that you guys really want to talk about, and let's start reading some of your comments. You remind me of the English version of TAF 316. I take that as a compliment. I do. I watched Noah for a number of years, with him doing his reaction stuff. If you're not aware, he's an American reactioner, and so he does, similar to me, he does a lot of British-based stuff, and it's obviously very different mindsets. You know, me and him, because I am British, so I have a British idea about things, whereas he sees things from an American point of view. I made a point that I would only watch reactions of his of stuff that I personally had seen, because I don't think, for me, I don't like to watch something for the first time with a reactioner, because I want to have my own thoughts and everything, rather than me potentially influenced by somebody else. So once I've seen something, then I'm happy to go back and see someone else react to it, but I wouldn't do it for the first place. So any of his videos that I would have seen is stuff that I would have already seen in the past. And he may have a video at some point come out, which is actually a request from myself, because he does a thing for his guaranteed reactions. It's through, if you watch him on Twitch, I think you gain points when you get a certain number. You can redeem them for a reaction of your choice, and that was something even really before I began reactions, or I think I just started, because I wasn't quite sure what I would do, how long I would do it, or anything. And I'd literally just watched the first Death in Paradise video, and then I earned enough. I was like, "Hey, you've done the first episode like 4 years ago. Why don't you do the next episode?" I thought it was quite fun. You know, it'd be interesting to see what you do next. And I've now done 3 series, and he's still only done the 1 episode. So yeah, you never know. At some point you might see my choice of reaction come out on his channel. Having watched the original show of Big Break back in the day, I have absolutely no memory of this particular abomination. 6 minutes in, and it already reminds me of why I hate Christmas, especially festive specials. I think it comes down to your personal taste and your personal expectations at the end of the day. For me, if I'm going to be watching a festive special of something, particularly if it's a game show, I'm expecting it to be very cheesy, very, very corny, and I don't mind that kind of stuff. If that's the kind of stuff that you don't enjoy, then I don't blame you if you didn't personally enjoy watching that episode of Big Break. You know, everyone's got their own personal tastes. You know, I don't think it really rings true that Lee hadn't met Tim's parents up until then. They had been best mates since college, and in series 1 of Not Going Out, they had both spoken about each other's parents, but then Tim also had a brother with kids in Series 1, so maybe the timeline shifted or something. Series 1 is in the Mavity-verse. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing after I'd finished doing my reaction for the first of the 2 Christmas specials for Not Going Out. And I did think it was very strange for them to have been supposedly friends for as many years as they had, and they, at the very least, Lee hadn't met Tim's parents. Yeah, something didn't quite add up for me there, so I'm in 100% agreement with you there. Please react to more Mork and Mindy. I can't find anyone else reacting to it. The outtakes / bloopers are good too. So kind of what I mentioned before, like with regards to TAF, I tend to have mostly done British shows up to this point. Because there's more of them that seem to be able to be got onto YouTube, which obviously helps with YouTube algorithms and everything. But also, it's a nice way of sort of easing myself in. But I do really want to do more American reactions, because again, similar to like someone like, you know, TAF 316, it's that difference of culture and difference of viewpoints on things. I mean, I'm shocked that when I saw Mork and Mindy, and especially when I saw it was already on YouTube, I was like, there's no way. There's no way I'm going to be able to get this onto YouTube. You know, it's an American show to start with, but then it's an American show featuring and starring Robin Williams, one of the most global icons of American culture. Yeah, he's right up there with Rowan Atkinson and Mr. Bean as far as I'm concerned. So I was shocked that was viewable on YouTube. So if people have ideas, or even if they come across shows, American shows that you can see in full on YouTube, send them my way, and I might do them at some point in the future. But I definitely would like to do Mork and Mindy, because I had fun watching that. I really, really did. Man Down is a bit wacky and disjointed, but I strangely like it. The camaraderie between friends is to be admired. I wonder if they were old school friends. I did try and have a bit of a look up at this, and I can't find any information to confirm one way or another, but from what I've been able to read up, I would say the likelihood is probably that they were not originally friends, because they've all kind of were born and raised in different locations. So I would be shocked if Greg Davies, Roisin Connerty and Mike Wozniak were in any way affiliated in their younger years. But I think that shows the mark of a good actor, when you can have people who've never met each other, who've never really properly worked with each other before that point, and they can just come together and have something where there is that kind of friendship and that love that it just comes from absolutely nowhere. I remember watching Art Attack as a kid, and I remember whenever Neil did a big Art Attack, my dad, who sometimes watched it with me as he thought that Neil was a fantastic artist, would say things like, "How does one tub of salt last them so long? We need to shop wherever he does." Yeah, I'm with you on that one. It is. I mean, it's the magic of TV, isn't it, really? But yeah, Neil, fantastic artist, and made everything on Art Attack look so effortless. He really, really did. Brett kind of agrees. He loved Art Attack growing up. He used to be so jealous of Neil Buchanan, as, hair aside, he never aged in 18 years of hosting it. For the VHS tapes at various points too. Great programme. I tell you what I was most jealous of. Did you know how much he sold Art Attack for? I mean, there's different articles, so it depends on which one you read, but he's basically sold Art Attack and potentially a couple of other shows that he'd created. Like, does anyone remember the TV show Zap? It was some sort of like comic book kind of thing. I only recently learned there was a painter guy in that. He was sort of like a French guy. He painted on stuff on the wall, and it's almost like The Mask, where you paint a handle and you can literally turn the handle kind of thing. But yeah, he was the painter dude in that, which I literally only just recently found out. And yeah, that and Art Attack and a few other shows he created. He apparently sold to Disney or someone else for somewhere between about 15 and 25 million for these tiny little kid shows. It was absolutely insane kind of money. Like, you would not have guessed that. You really, really... But he was the face of Art Attack, so if it failed after that, you can kind of understand why. Every time you kept talking about putting this episode of Goodnight Sweetheart on for the 7th, as it would link to Pearl Harbor, I kept thinking, dude, you've got no idea how on the nose you are. Yeah, I was surprised with that as well. I mean, that's only kind of come about because I think it was someone in one of the early episodes suggested doing like an on this day kind of thing when I do episodes of Goodnight Sweetheart. And I've enjoyed doing that because it gives me a chance to learn stuff, because I always like learning stuff. But yeah, literally the moments I read about Pearl Harbor, I was like, well, it can't be anything else. You know, it's got to be about Pearl Harbor, because that's probably one of the most famous things to have happened from World War II, other than like the Blitz and things like that. Even though I don't know really anything about Pearl Harbor itself, it's like, you know the name, but you don't know anything about it. So yeah, maybe that's why they did it. The board game showed in this episode of One Foot in the Grave is called Risk. I used to play that a lot. Is Risk the board game that Rimmer kept a diary of in Red Dwarf? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Okay, Rimmer. What did you do with the dice?
I threw a 5 and a 2.
And that's the really interesting bit.
Well, it was interesting to me. It got me into Irkutsk.
Also from the One Foot in the Grave episode, there are plenty of reasons to disbelieve in God, but in the book of Job in the Old Testament, he literally tested Job's faith by killing his children, making him lose all his worldly possessions, leaving him borderline crippled. I don't believe in God, but he absolutely would put someone through horrible things to test their faith. Look, my obviously, the reason we got onto this subject, we were talking, I think there was a priest in the episode who was talking about testing of faiths and stuff like that. And I told the story about how my religious studies teacher at school tried to convince me that God is real and puts tests on everyone and everything. And I said, well, how can you say that any loving or justifiable God would kill an innocent child in order to test their parents? Which is kind of what a priest had kind of suggested to my uncle when my cousin had been killed in a road traffic accident when he was like 14. And I do accept that there are stuff in the Bible, in the books of the Bibles that talk about things like this. My viewpoint on the Bible in general is the fact that you can take a story and you can have viewpoints in it which will get twisted with reprints, through Chinese whispers, because I think it might have been Ricky Gervais or something. He said something about
if we take something like any fiction, in any holy book, in any other fiction, and destroyed it, okay, in 1,000 years' time, that wouldn't come back just as it was. Whereas if we took every science book, right, and every fact, and destroyed them all, in 1,000 years, they'd all be back, because all the same tests would be the same result.
That's good. That's really good.
So, yeah, it's for those reasons, I'm just like, I do not believe that a just God would, kill an innocent child. Maybe that's my optimistic viewpoint on it, but that's who I am. So, yeah, you'll never convince me otherwise. That's fine. You got this one spot on with Inside Number 9. You would do anything for family. And that I think is more in lines with a loving God. If you had the family that you did in Inside Number 9, you want to protect them at all costs. You don't put a test in there to test on whether they're going to do. You would literally go to the dad, say, you've got your grandchild, you've got your son and your daughter. Your son is struggling and he's putting your grandson's life in jeopardy. Are you going to do what you can to protect your family? Of course you would. Anybody would. Any self-respecting person would. So yeah, it was a beautiful episode, I think, of Inside Number 9, which surprised me because when you compared it to the previous Christmas episode we did, very, very, very different. Always love a bit of QI. There's something comforting about it. I definitely found that show comforting so far, the 2 episodes that I've seen, because I like learning stuff and I find learning comforting. That's who I am. You want to get me a good Christmas present, you give me something that I can learn from. I assume from this edit that you were unfortunate enough to have missed out on the Muppet Christmas Carol's best song, When Love Is Gone. I think I'd recorded the reaction to a Muppet Christmas Carol, and I was getting ready to do the edits, which I can't remember how many I got to now. I think it was something like 17 edits before it was finally in a viewable condition for YouTube. Not as bad as the Grinch, because the Grinch I got to 15 before it finally said yes. Then it was about an hour later going, actually nah, we're not gonna let you do it again. So do another edit. We go, yeah, but no. Yeah, no, yeah, no. So 22 edits I got to for the Grinch before that was viewable, which was a pain in the backside, let me tell you that. But yeah, pretty much I think about a day after I'd done the reaction to the Muppet Christmas Carol, after I'd recorded it, I saw some sort of thing on Facebook, people going, oh, if you're watching Muppet Christmas Carol on Disney Plus, if you go onto the like extras tab or something, you can see this deleted scene and this deleted song, which they thought was too sad to put in the original movie and everything. So, yeah, I am a bit gutted. I missed out because I did watch that song afterwards, and I do think that it complemented the rest of the scene and just elevated it ever so slightly for me. And I think it does more for the movie putting it in there than leaving it out, from my personal viewpoint. In the Muppet Christmas Carol, I of course spoke at one point. There was a line in there which Scrooge said, which I queried whether that was actually in the movie, in the original book or not, which someone did come back and say yes, which led me on to a discussion about an idea I'd had for creating a podcast at some point, being book-based. Because I love reading books, and I love analysing books and stories and things. And judging from some of the comments, there's definitely quite a few of you who would be potentially interested in me doing a podcast of some kind in some way. So I'm going to have a think. Maybe it might be this year, maybe a year's time, 2 years' time, 3 years' time, who knows? But I'm going to have a think about it. I mean, I did get, and I did prepare for it, because this year for our family, we did like a Secret Santa kind of thing, where we put down some suggestions of stuff that we may want to get for Christmas. Because you get to that point, you're just like, what do you get for each other? And you end up getting crap most of the time for your mums, your dads, your brothers and sisters and stuff. And I literally couldn't think of anything to put down for. So eventually, the one thing I put down there was Lord of the Rings book set, which I did get. So basically, I've got The Hobbit and the 3 Lord of the Rings books, which I will definitely say, size-wise, are smaller than I thought they would be. I don't know why, in my head, I thought, especially like if you say like the Return of the King, which is obviously the final one in that. I mean, that to me looks about similar sort of thickness as it would have been for Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So the 3rd Harry Potter book. I mean, but then again, I mean, it's suggesting there's like 1,000 pages. But I don't know, that to me doesn't feel like 1,000-page book. Yeah. I'm really confused. Actually, no. No, because chapter 1 of this, Minas Tirith, seems to suggest it is page 746. Or 747. So unless literally the page numbers are carrying on from the previous books, which if that's the case, you could argue that these are, maybe 250 pages? Whereas I was convinced there would be sort of Order of Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows sort of level books, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, they were literally the only things I could kind of think of as for my Secret Santa thing. So yeah, maybe at some point in the future there will be a Kevin the Geek podcast. Give me any suggestions for a name of a podcast. The only one I have kind of thought that I kind of like the idea of at the moment is Between the Lines. I kind of like that as an idea for something about books and kind of delving into them and being analytical and stuff. But people have already come out with suggestions of stuff to do. I think Katie was talking about like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, of course, Percy Jackson, Narnia. People have spoken about A Christmas Carol, other Charles Dickens, Agatha Christie, Sherlock Holmes. There's honestly so much that I could delve into, and I would have a blast doing that. Whether I was doing it on my own or whether I'd have guest people in, I don't know. But yeah, that would be so much fun to do. It really, really would, at least for me anyway. Probably won't get that many viewers, but hey. Watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, I felt I was high on mushrooms. Yeah, it was a strange thing to watch, wasn't it? Definitely, if you compare it to some of the British ones that we did last year, like The Snowman and Father Christmas and stuff, Yeah, the Americans do their Christmas animated stuff very, very differently. Living near Birmingham, going to Gladiators on a Saturday, I used to see the Gladiators walk into the National Indoor Arena and buy the cuts for video shots. Although I never went to watch the filming itself, I know people that did, and I wish I'd gone now. I would love to go, even to the new one. So like, this video, the Battle of the Gladiators, I would definitely say over the last week or so, I'd probably get 20 views from one particular source. And I know that. It's from my nephew. Because before I'd even released my videos for Gladiators, I think it was the beginning of last year, I was like, I want to introduce my nephew to it. Because he was a bit of a fighting kind of phase. And I was like, you need to watch the Gladiators. And I sat him down and I got him to watch some of the original episodes. And he loved it. Absolutely loved it. So of course he watches the new show. Absolutely loves it. And so of course, as soon as he sees, oh my god, Kevin the Geek, Battle of the Gladiators, YouTube, remote, put the code in, and he'll just settle down. He can be in the biggest mood of all, but he puts that on, it's somehow very soothing and calming for him. So I know I've got him onto the right track there with that. In the original Gladiators, they didn't have any female celebrities competing, all because of them back then being classed as too dumb and airheaded. And I think there was something about the female gladiators not wanting to compete against them. Hence why they only had male celebrities in the original Gladiators. That's a shame. But at the same time, I don't think that is necessarily unexpected, if that is true or not. Because I think women's in sport in general have often been overlooked. And it's really been in the last maybe sort of 15, 20 years or so, I would say, that when you've had people like Serena Williams, you know, in tennis, you've had like Jessica Ennis in athletics and the Olympics, and you've had, I don't know, like Kelly Holmes and Paula Radcliffe and various people like that, you know, and of course the Lionesses in recent years. When you see, you know, individual females and teams of females like really elevating their sports to new heights, I think it has really increased the public perception of it to the point that they are truly considered athletes as well, not just going, it's a lower form of male athletics, if that makes any sense. I hope that does. So yeah, I'm glad that women's athletics and women's sports are genuinely getting the recognition that they deserve. And I did see a little bit of the most recent Gladiators special, the new version that they did, the charity special, which I think Ellie Taylor and can't remember the other one, Louise something. But I remember watching that, I was thinking, Louise is like older. I think she's like similar age to like my mum, so I think she's like late 50s, early 60s or something like that. I'm like, fair play to her for going out there and showing, you know, that an older woman can do just as well as a younger, fitter woman. You know, I was very impressed with that. To go into bottom unprepared was very brave, Kevin. That could come out so wrong in the wrong context. I think you liked it though. Again, yeah, to go into bottom unprepared was very brave, Kevin. I think you liked it though. Yeah, that could come across very, 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 very wrong. And I think Paul realised that. Oh, for goodness sake, you dirty people at the back, settle down. There's no issue with starting here with bottom, to be honest. They're all as insane as this one, so it's not as if you're missing any ongoing character arcs or anything. You should probably watch the show in the exact reverse order and not even notice. Bottom was just insane. It perfectly was. And I have to thank Brett for putting me on to watching that one. His other choice for me, because he was debating between this and another thing for it being a Christmas reaction, was debating between this and the Blackadder Christmas Carol, which again was something like, if you've not seen the show, you can watch it, not really get any spoilers out of it, but still get a bit of a sense for what you might get with the different series. And it was very much a case that with this, you can watch it in any order, and pretty much every episode will feel just totally self-contained. There's no really ongoing storylines or anything. And I have to admit, I just came out of it going, what the hell have I just watched? But I really want to see more of it. So we'll have to see. Someone did actually say that apparently there's a Halloween episode, so if I do nothing else before starting this show properly, I think I will at least have to try and remember to put this in for Halloween this year. In the Ghost episode, I love the Christmas carol scene around the piano. So beautiful, especially with Alison giving Thomas the little kiss that he has always been craving, but he didn't even realise it. Oh, yeah. That was a beautiful scene. Beautiful episode, I think, in general. And I said, what was it before? Like the women's sports don't get the recognition they deserve. I don't think that Ghosts gets the recognition it deserves. It's a fantastically well put together show, and it is so amazing to watch, and I'm delighted to continue watching it. This comment came on one of my Patreon exclusive videos. So if you weren't aware, I did a number of videos which were Patreon exclusives for the month of December. And these are stuff that may come to YouTube in the future, they may not. So if you didn't see them, but you would like to see them, you can just head on over to Patreon. There's a little collection so you can see where all of them are. I did a couple of 90s Christmas advert videos. One that was me reacting to some British adverts, and some that was some American Christmas adverts. I did a reaction to a couple of clips of Michael McIntyre talking about Christmas. I did a movie reaction to Home Alone. I did a reaction to Merry Christmas, Mr. Bean, which I thought was strange that I didn't remember seeing it. And after watching it, I am 100% convinced I never saw that episode. So that was pretty much a brand new reaction. I did the Wallace and Gromit Wrong Trousers episode prior to watching the newest episode, just to kind of refresh my memory. And most recently, just after New Year's, I've done my reaction to the pilot episode of Porridge, so you can check that out. But this comment relates to the video that I did for Horrible Histories, which I thought was a great way to tie in, considering I did the reaction to Ghosts. Enter the Matrix has said, I wasn't expecting this. One of my all-time favourite shows, though after the original cast left after Series 5, is just not the same. Not bad, just not the same. And I think that does kind of tally with a number of different shows I hear, that when you have, maybe not necessarily an entire cast leaving, but there's like one or two like big names, it doesn't feel like the same show anymore. And it's always on a bit of a downhill trajectory. I think the British Empire suffered from that when they lost Laura. I don't think it really felt the same show after Laura left, because Laura was the glue that held the show together. So yeah, she was a big mess there. For Alan Partridge, they explain how he got the Christmas special after killing a man in the book I, Partridge. Basically, it had already been commissioned during the production of the first series, and due to the police not charging him, the BBC had no legal way to cancel the special, although there were lengthy legal battles where they really tried to. That just makes Alan trying to get a second series even more desperate and delusional, considering how hard the BBC trying to get out of even doing a Christmas special. I definitely recommend the book after seeing all of TV Partridge. It's really funny, and it goes into a lot of detail about the gaps between the various series to make everything make sense. That sounds like a great thing to do on a podcast, if I ever get around to doing that. Yeah, that does put a lot of things into context there, because that would make sense. Because that was the thing I just kept wondering, like, so you have the end of series 1, he literally kills a man on TV, and yet somehow you decide you're going to give him a Christmas special a year later. Just how? In what reality would that happen? It's like, there was that movie, wasn't there, last year that was it Alec Baldwin? You know, he accidentally shot and killed like a props master or something on the set of the movie. Didn't realise apparently that there was it was a loaded gun. Allegedly, obviously we don't know anything about it, so don't come at me in the comments or anything like that with that. But it's like them going, okay, yeah, he killed someone on set. We've decided we're going to release the movie, and then 2 years down the line we go, yeah, they're making a sequel. Did you know? You know that movie where Alec Baldwin killed someone on set? Yeah, he's going to be back, and they're going to make a sequel to it. You just be thinking, how, in what reality would that happen? Especially in America, with how they love to sue anyone and everyone about anything and everything. So, yeah, it gives a bit of context to that. So that's really interesting behind the scenes stuff to learn there. So thank you for that. Dude, you haven't lived if you've never had a boaster. So that was the biscuit that Alan Partridge was talking about in that episode. I've looked it up. I found an image of it, and apparently they're discontinued. They've been discontinued for a number of years. I don't recognise the packaging. I'll be completely honest with you. It doesn't ring a bell. I just look at them and I'll just go, they just look like chocolate chip cookie biscuits. So, yeah, if anyone has any that are kind of in date and wouldn't kill me, and if you want to send them my way, I'd try them. I'd try them for the channel. It might kill me. Who knows? They say you've never lived if you haven't tried one. Maybe you won't live if you do try one these days. Nice. When Jim Carrey pulled the sheet from the table, it was meant to pull all the pots off as well. Him rushing back and knocking everything over was all improv on Jim's part. I love it when you have little moments like that. I remember seeing that. I don't think I said anything during that moment of the reaction, but I remember thinking, that doesn't feel like Jim Carrey in The Grinch. Being that he would literally whip a tablecloth off and like everything stays put. That doesn't feel right. It felt like it should have gone over. And then literally a split second later, he goes, knocks them all off again. That I appreciate. I appreciate a good improvisation from an actor. I'd say that there are easily more Christmas in the final episode of the first series of Only Fools and Horses than all the other episodes combined. The Christmas specials are mainly feature-length episodes that could be shown at any time of the year. Having said that, I hope you enjoyed the show. Merry Christmas. Yeah, I haven't felt festive watching the Only Fools and Horses episodes. I've enjoyed them. They've not been festive for me, which is just strange. The returning classic villain mentioned in the press was the Silurian cameo. Villain Guard is not from classic Doctor Who at all. AF? What's that mean? AFA? Oh, as far as I know. Oh, Jesus Christ. That took me a moment to work that out. Oh, my word. There's so many anagrams for things these days. You go, what the hell does that mean? Yeah, everyone was bang on going, oh, yes, it's the Villain Guard. That's the return. I was like, no. Like, we've never actually seen them on screen. It's just no. Although, I did enjoy the Christmas episode. It was definitely a very enjoyable one. There were some people, I watched a few reviews or a few reactions of the Doctor Who episode after, and there's some people that really hated it. I don't know if we were watching the same thing, because I really did enjoy it. But then again, I am an optimistic person. Me and the kids watching Wallace and Gromit on Boxing Day, it was so amazing. I want a Norbert. If I had a garden, I would want a Norbert, but I would not want the evil setting in there. Why would you even put that in there? Just why would that even be a thing? Why would you consider putting something like that in? That is bonkers. Meaning Wallace and Gromit. Wallace and Gromit outnumbered the Doctor Who were a cracking Christmas treat. I can confirm that I did see Wallace's butt cheeks slide down the water tube. You dirty bugger. I can't believe you freeze frame. Because clearly you would have had to freeze frame to see Wallace's butt. Can we please make sure the Norbert recharge face a meme? I could just imagine a number of shitposts and YTP What's a YTP? Somebody explain that to me. And they'll use that face to a funny extent. Well, hopefully you don't get it from me. Recharging 1%. Oh, please, someone don't clip that. Moving on to the Gavin and Stacey. Two comments here which are vastly opposite viewpoints on this one. So Mark says, a few people have said that they were disappointed with it, considering it was the final, and that it didn't deliver or live up to what it could have been. And did Ruth and James actually know what happened on the fishing trip themselves and why it flopped, as they couldn't come up with a scenario for what actually happened, or because they had wanted the real story for it, or they wanted the real story for it to be, probably wouldn't have been allowed now, since the series started in 2007 the world's gone politically correct. I guess what I think you're asking there, sorry, that took me a moment to work that out. I guess what you're asking is, did they have something in mind that there was a reason behind it, but then that reason would now be politically incorrect if they were to reveal that that was the reason, and so that's why they've never revealed it. That's what I think you're getting out there. From the interviews that I've read and things, I think that they've always gone down a route of they've deliberately themselves tried to not think what happened on that trip. I mean very much in agreement with that, because I think the mystery and the intrigue behind it is what leaves it to be such a good thing, and such a thing when it gets brought up, you're just like, I really, really, really want to know. But at the same time, if they reveal it and it's a crap reason, you're just like, that's taking all that fun and that mystery out of it. In the same way, like there was a big thing for a period of time in Doctor Who where they were going, we might reveal what the Doctor's name is. You know, we might reveal it. You know, we're kind of teasing it. River Song, you know, apparently she whispered the Doctor's name into the Doctor's ear to show that she could trust her. There was a whole thing. There was a whole episode called The Name of the Doctor. But can you imagine it? If the Doctor comes up, it's like, the Great Intentions go to him, you need to say your name to open up these doors so we can get into your grave. And he goes, yeah, my name's Keith. Can you imagine how much of a letdown that would have been? Yeah. There's mystery for millennia. Yeah, my name's Keith after all that. Oh my god. Oh my god. I tickled myself so much there. Ow, my chest. Oh. Oh, I hope I managed to tickle you with that one, because that is just so stupid. But I hope you get where I'm kind of trying to come from with that. Oh dear. Yeah, so Mark, it seems, didn't like it. Scott says, one of the best endings ever. The sheer number of little clever things and callbacks throughout the episode is so clever. Many wouldn't know that they're there. He went on to list loads of them, which I'm not going to put in here because it will just fill the screen and everything. Here's my thinking with the special, and especially now I've had a few days to kind of reflect on it. I think the finale was pointless. If I'm being truthfully honest, it was pointless. The only reason that they had to put it in there is because of the cliffhanger that they left at the end of the last Christmas special. Because they've said at the end of this one, like, we now know how everyone has ended up together. We know who's with who and everything. And you can just imagine that one Christmas, you can just think, oh, well, on this Christmas day, it'll be so-and-so with so-and-so, and they'll be doing this, that, and the other, and everything. I mean, reality, what did we learn over the 2 Christmas specials that we didn't know by the end of series 3, when the show originally finished. They alternate Christmas between Barry and Essex every year. Gavin and Stacey obviously had 3 kids together. Doris died and left her house to Stacey. Neil the baby and Nessa lived with Bryn on Trinity Street. That's pretty much it. Like, we didn't need to know anything else. Like, if you had just done the series, the 2019 Christmas special, did everything exactly as it was, but just took out that final scene, I don't think it would have changed much. Maybe you might just go, is Smithy going to end up with his Sonia person or not? That was really about it. I mean, if you take out Sonia completely, then I don't think it would have been too bad of a thing to go. You can just think, oh, Smithy and Nessa, they seem like they were getting together. They didn't actually get together, but they are still kind of technically together because they still end up, waking up in each other's bed. But that's always been their relationship. That's always been their dynamic. And they kind of did that again with this episode, where it was the whole, like, now you can kiss the bride. It's like, yeah, no, we don't do that. We've never kissed. And you're just like, well, yeah, that's just them. That's their relationship. So, yeah, there wasn't a lot that you gained from doing them. Because I thought the way it ended in Series 3, I thought it was pretty much as perfect as it needed to be. You knew that Gavin and Stacey were having a kid. It strung up the possibility, and it was very heavily implied that Nessa and Smithy were basically now together. That was it. That you could have literally just left it there. Maybe done one Christmas special, half hour thing, where you just see them going, spending Christmas together, having a bit of chaos, that being it. You didn't need Sonia. You didn't need the whole Smithy-Nessa proposal thing. Sorry, I realise I've gone off on a massive tangent there, talking with that one. I could easily have done that for a whole video. Maybe I will at some point, about how pointless the 2 Christmas specials were. But yeah, you heard it here first. From Chewing the Fat, I was confused about the whole putting the cone on top of the Duke of Wellington thing, and it seems like even people in Scotland are confused with it. Apparently it's been a thing since the 70s. I asked any particular reason why. Fraser said no reason, just because we can. Glasgow humour. Just been a thing since then. Nobody knows who started. Could have been some Neds. Could have been a drunken night out. We'll never know. It's a mystery. Students. That's why. Rumour is if it falls off now, it's actually the police that put it back to stop randoms from hurting themselves trying. Yeah, there's so many different thought processes behind that, and I love that. I love that there's a mystery like the fishing trip that no one knows the reason why or how it started or anything. It's just a thing. Can you react to Father Ted, please, Kevin? Maybe. Father Ted, I've always been a bit unsure of doing. Because, I mean, I definitely won't do it anytime soon, unless like someone becomes like a super geek and requests it, in which case, yeah, absolutely yes, I will do it. With Father Ted, if I remember correctly, I would say I've definitely seen, I think, all of Series 2 and definitely a few episodes of Series 3. Series 1 is the only series I'm 100% certain I have not ever watched. So maybe I'll at the very least do the first series of Father Ted, but I think unless someone requests it, I'm not going to do Father Ted until I've completed a bunch of the shows that I've already got that I've been doing. I think that's the fairest way to do it. With Goodnight Sweetheart, this is a fun show with a plot that I find absolutely brilliant. Being a sci-fi fan and a lover of British sitcoms, it combines my two loves, which is rare. But this show, for some reason, is just okay with some good moments. It's one of those comedies that I will find more interesting than funny. Will the two women ever meet? What became of the 40s people in modern times? Will Gary ever be found out? What is the time portal? Will it be explored further? My curiosity is in overdrive, but show after show so far, no spoilers in this comment, has been a bit of a soapy love triangle with a focus on comedy that rarely makes me laugh. I don't like Gary. I find him a pompous, weaselly, two-timing, arrogant, selfish, loathsome fake. A bit of harsh assessment, I know. No, I don't think. I think that's a fairly fair, accurate assessment as far as I'm concerned. I don't like how he speaks to Reg either. Nicholas Lyndhurst, though, plays him brilliantly and makes the character as fascinating as he is unlikable. I find myself constantly wanting to get his just desserts, which doesn't happen up to this point at the very least, no spoilers. The side characters, Ron, Reg and Phoebe, love them, especially Reg. Yvonne does my head in a bit. I love the Eric character, although I can see why they got rid of him. It's a shame that they didn't just tone him down. He would have made a good recurring character. You've pretty much hit the nail on the head about how I feel with this show. I don't think I can ever class it as a comedy. It feels more of a drama, more of a comedy. It's a drama with some comedy elements to it. That's the way I look at it. But for people who call it out and outright a sitcom, I would disagree with that. But yeah, I've said it before that I don't think that Gary is a likable character. Does that mean he's a bad character? No, he is actually quite an engaging character, and you want to kind of learn more. Like you say, you want to kind of see him get his just desserts. And what you say, like he's played brilliantly by Nicholas Lyndhurst. It is exactly the same for how Sonia was in the 2 Christmas specials of Gavin and Stacey. The character of Sonia is so utterly dislikable, so that when she kind of, in a way, gets her just desserts, so she kind of gets left at the altar kind of thing, you're like, fair play. You know, you are just using Smithy for this stuff. You don't love him. I do genuinely think that Gary does love both Phoebe and Yvonne, but it's like anyone going, you know, you can have your cake, but you can also eat your other slice of cake as well. Most people are going to do it. Like, if they genuinely think like that, I've got the opportunity to sleep with 2 women, and they're never going to find out about each other because they're in 2 different time zones. There's a lot of people, men and women, who just go, I'm going to try and take advantage of that. Just going to see what happens. So yes, it is an intriguing show. I definitely agree the side characters are the best part of the show, in my personal opinion. Yeah, it is a fantastic show, and I'm just intrigued as to where we go with it, especially now that we've got the shop and we can see more opportunities for more hijinks. And like I've kind of theorised, if there is that potential that Yvonne could come to the shop now, potentially walk out into the back, end up going in the past, meeting Phoebe. That is the moment I am waiting for in this show. I want the 2 women to meet, because that is going to be insane. Absolutely insane. And I don't want them to just meet and it just be a weird thing. I want them to meet and to know about each other. That's what I really want to see. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Ron kind of stabbed Gary in the back a little bit, because the way that Gary treats Ron is really bad. I mean, Reg, I don't think too much, you know, because Reg is so dim. Like most of the stuff, it's like water off a duck's back. He just doesn't even realise. But with Ron's very clued up. And it just wouldn't surprise me if Gary does something one day and Ron just kind of snaps. It's like, I've been dealing with your secrets. I've been printing all your fake money and stuff, and you just don't appreciate me and all the work I do, to the point that you're causing issues in my own marriage. Sod you. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. So yeah, there we go. Final comment I'm going to respond to. Happy New Year. Thanks for all your reactions this year. I look forward to seeing more of them in 2025. I look forward to seeing all of you guys in 2025 as well. The video is definitely longer than I thought it was going to be, as they always end up being. I always think, can I try and get one of these to like half an hour? But this is the problem with these, being that I'm covering up, you know, like a month's worth of comments, is not entirely, you know, possible always to be able to narrow these down to about a half hour or anything. I've given suggestions in the past whether people would maybe want me to kind of do maybe like more of them, but then it covers like less period of time, so like do them so that it covers like one for every 2 weeks or something, or once a week or something like that. Because if it's like once a week, it could maybe be like a 5-10 minute video. If it's once every 2 weeks, it could be maybe 25-30 minutes for the videos, whereas doing it for the whole month is when it normally gets to be closer to an hour. So let me know your viewpoints. Let me know whether you think I should potentially revisit how frequently I do these videos as well. But for now, I love doing them. Again, apologies for the coughing fits within the video. I just hope that you continue to enjoy everything that is going to be coming over the year. Yeah, hopefully there's a lot more shows that get completed this year, which means we get a lot more new shows being started as well. That's going to do it for today. Thank you once again for all of your support in whatever form it takes. But for now, my name's Kevin. I am a geek, and you've been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.